Hello and thank you for joining us. My name's Ben Jones, as I've just been introduced. I'm the CPO at FitXR, and I suppose my job is or our mission at FitXR as an immersive fitness company is to basically disrupt the fitness industry fundamentally. And we believe it needs to be disrupted in every single way. Our focus is really to make the world move again. And get moving as it's really not. And we'll talk about that and one of the problems we face as a society very soon. I think we're trying to collide this new technology with fitness fundamentally to create what the fitness industry always resorts to and talks about, and that is flow state. This world where you're in the flow state and you're immersed in it and you train harder. And we'll talk about that in a minute too. But more importantly, I've got this person here, Billy. Billy's one of our trainers from FitXR. He's a former member of a boy band called Slow Motion. He told me that you were a close second to NSYNC in the day.
Yes, we lost one record deal to NSYNC and one to Drew Hill.
Could have made it.
You've never heard of Slow Motion, it's okay. But I was
But you have now. So go back, Spotify, back catalog.
Try to Google a band that was around before Google.
Yeah.
See how it works out.
But more importantly, he was a Division I athlete. He's a power athlete. He's a triathlete. He's every type of athlete going. He's the founder of the Billy Davies Foundation. He's also the founder of, I'm sure he's going to mention it, the Cheeseburger Day. Before we get into immersive fitness, there's this obvious thing as well, which is here, and there's a bit of a story behind Billy, so maybe you want to introduce yourself and then tell us your story.
How you doing? My name is Billy Davis. I'm just going to put this right here real quick. And my name is Billy Davis, and yes, I am the founder, or I'm the founder of the Billy Davis Foundation. And what Ben has so kindly referenced is what I call Cheeseburger Day. So, just really briefly, 10 years ago, May 19th, 2012, almost 10 years to the day. Last week was the 10-year anniversary. I was in a motorcycle accident. May 19th, I was hanging out with some buddies on a camping trip. I had a street bike with me. I rode over something that punctured my front tire. I rode for 2 hours on a leaking front tire. And when I got to my final destination, Orange County Choppers in Newburgh, New York, my bike low-sided. I slid into a guardrail post doing 50 miles an hour. I suffered a compound fracture of my fibula tibia, dislocated knee. I broke my femur in 2 places. I snapped my femoral artery, and I started to bleed out immediately. Now, I probably should have died that day, except right before I got to the exit, a retiring Army medic named Matt Pinkston happened to follow me off the exit. Now, Sergeant Matt Pinkston had lost his arm 20 years ago in a construction accident. They reattached it. His job in Afghanistan and Iraq was bag tag and disposal of body parts. And he'd received 2 awards for being the first responder at traffic accidents in Germany, one of which involved saving a baby. So Matt started carrying medical equipment with him in his truck. And right before I got off the exit, I rode right by him. Matt looked at his wife and said, "That's a nice bike." His wife said, "What bike?" He said, "Never mind, let's get off the exit." He follows me off the exit, and then in a split second he loses me. He sees a puff of dust, and when he comes around the exit, my bike is sliding, and my left foot is under my shoulder next to my helmet. So they called paramedics. I got to the hospital. By the time I got there, I had 15% of my body's blood volume left. You lose 5% in major surgery, and if you get below 10%, you typically don't come back to this life, certainly not normal. I did. I had 11 hours worth of surgery. I flatlined flatlined twice, 11 hours worth of surgery, 4 blood transfusions, and I slipped into a coma. Now, the Cheeseburger Day thing is funny because if anybody ever been to New York, okay, 3 people, 4, half. So I was in New York. I kept waking up. And every now and then I'd wake up and yell, "Where are my boots?" Someone would say, "You lost your boots." "Was I in a motorcycle accident?" "Yes, you were." "Damn it." And I'd go back to sleep. And I would dream about cycling with one leg. And then I'd wake up again. "Was I in a motorcycle accident?" "Yes, you were." "Do you know where you are?" "I'm at Orange County Choppers." "No, you're not. You're at Westchester Medical." "Okay." And then go back to sleep. And I would dream about swimming with one leg. Fast forward, I have this crazy dream while I'm in a coma that I'm riding through Manhattan on a bicycle. And I've had this sensation that says, if you say yes, you can't say no. And I remember in the dream, there are no cars on the street, no people on the sidewalk, no trash, anything. It's blue sky. Every time I hit a light, it turns green. I'm on a bicycle. And I'm thinking to myself, this is weird because there's nobody here. And then I felt it again. If you say yes, you can't say no. And I took that to mean that if I said yes, I was going to be there for a while. And as you can tell, I'm a chatty Cathy. So I said no, and immediately had the sensation of hunger. I followed that sensation of hunger to a deli I knew. I walked up to the counter and said, "Excuse me, sir, can I get a cheeseburger and a Coke?" And the guy turns around and he has no face. And all I hear is, wah, 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 wah. He goes back to work. Woman comes in the room or in the store. I look at her. She has no face. She walks right up to the counter and she says, "Wah, wah, wah, wah." The guy says, "Wah, wah, 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 wah." And I look at her and I say, "Excuse me, miss, I'm sorry. I was here first. Can I get a cheeseburger and a Coke?" Guy ignores me a second time. Now I'm getting upset. I'm hungry. I'm being ignored. It's a customer service issue. And for whatever reason, I think it's because I'm black. Nothing to do with anything. So after a few of these encounters, I start to get really angry. I slam my fist on the counter and I yell, "Can a brother get a cheeseburger and a Coke?" And immediately I'm in a different room. Only now it's dark. There are white things flashing at me, lights over here, and I don't know what's going on. So in an attempt to defend myself, I go to throw a punch. My arm stops. I look over and I'm in restraints. There's something in my mouth stopping me from talking. It's an incubation tube. I realize the white things are nurses, medical equipment, the flashing lights, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. And one of the nurses says, "Excuse me, oh my God, Mr. Davis, thank God you're awake. You've been in a horrible motorcycle accident. We had to take your leg. We apologize about the restraints, but yesterday you tried to walk out of here." At which point I remembered looking at her and yelling, "Screw you, I'm out of here." And what stopped me from turning over or getting out of the bed, my leg was missing. I saw a bloody stump or a bandage where my foot was supposed to be. And so, of course, I freaked out. "Where's my foot? Where's my foot?" Somebody poked me with something. I went back to sleep. So the nurse says, "We'll take the restraints off, but you have to promise not to try to leave. Do you understand?" Now, 30 seconds ago, I'm ordering a cheeseburger on 2nd Avenue. Now you're telling me I'm in a hospital. I don't know what's going on. And I'm very high on Dilaudid. It's a very good drug. You should never abuse it. So I look at the nurse and I was like, "Mm." So she takes the restraints off. She goes, "We're going to take the tube out of your mouth. Are you okay with that?" She takes the tube out of the mouth. I look at the nurse and I say, "Can a brother get a cheeseburger and a Coke? I'm really hungry." And those are the first words out of my mouth after a coma. Fast forward a year, rather than celebrate the day I crashed, I celebrate the day I woke up. We call it Cheeseburger Day. Every year we raise money for amputees, people with disabilities. We ask people to donate the cost of a cheeseburger to a charity. I've donated thousands of dollars, tens of thousands to causes like Wiggle Your Toes, CAF, Challenge Athletes Foundation, Aspire, Achilles, stuff like that. So that's kind of where that came from.
I don't know what to say to that, really. I think it's a phenomenal story, and we spoke earlier on about how you talk about the moment, the accident, the recovery as a gift in many ways, right? In many ways, Billy's one of the best trainers we have on FitXR purely because of the way he knows how to change his own life and how that he can help others change other people's lives, and that's why you're part of FitXR, right? So let's go into the world of immersive fitness. Let's talk about how you are part of FitXR and how you are part of this immersive fitness kind of moment. What do you do? How are you part of this new world?
So my role in FitXR is I'm one of the virtual trainers. We have 3 different modalities. We have a dance, we have HIIT, high intensity interval training, and we have boxing.
How about your dancing?
My dancing is terrible. I have one move.
Look at this.
You guys want to see my move? I have one move. This is my move.
It's brilliant, right?
That's my move.
That's a good move. That's
since
why
nobody else can do
but
that.
he doesn't do the dancing instruction,
Yeah.
right? He only does the boxing and he does the HIIT.
I do the boxing, I do the HIIT. If you go to the boxing, you hear my voice cheering you on. If you do the HIIT, my guy pops up. He actually has an avatar. Looks like me, but I do not dance.
And the world of the metaverse, as we all know, it can allow people to be something that they aren't if they want to be, right? There are many people who live in a kind of sustained, suppressed life, and they go into the metaverse, and they can be anything. They can be anything in a chat room like they used to be in those days, and now in the metaverse, it gives you any type of option to be anything, a very, very Ready Player Me kind of thing. But you chose to have a cyborg leg in the game.
Prosthetic, absolutely.
Why?
Well, one, how many virtual amputees have you seen in the metaverse?
Yeah, not many.
Right? So I get to be a first. And I mean, to be honest, it's just because I wanted to represent people with challenges and disabilities as leaders in our industry. I mean, we have the Paralympics. I know several Olympic caliber athletes in all sorts of things, triathlon, swimming, pole vaulting, track and field, and it made sense to represent in the same way in this realm.
And I suppose in many ways, it's a call out. If you can do it, you can be up there throwing the punches, then anyone can do it. And that's
Just
the point,
about,
right?
yeah.
I mean, let's move into the problem of what the world faces, which is kind of more, the world at the moment is becoming more sedentary every single day. And that's a fundamental problem that humanity faces. The WHO talk about it being the next epidemic that we are facing as a human race. I've got a couple of stats here, which is 80% of the children between the ages of 11 and 17 are fundamentally not physical enough. 39 million children under the age of 5 in the year 2020, I'm sure it's even higher now, were deemed to be obese at the age of 5. All right, so this wave of inactivity, this inactivity problem is becoming a huge thing for us. And so, we are facing it. What do you think? Why do you think this is happening? Why is this problem happening?
I mean, I think that it has a lot to do with the way that we're genetically designed. By DNA, we are habit-forming, meaning-making, pattern-seeking machines who take the path of least resistance. To quote Star Trek, we are flexible bags of mostly water powered by small electrical impulses.
So he had to get some kind of digital immersive thing going. So you've
Exactly.
got sci-fi in there now. It's good.
Yeah. So I mean, I really feel like, with modern technology, we're up here with screens. Nobody really plays tag anymore. Yep. Nobody really plays hide and seek. You don't see kids climbing trees.
Banned. Everything we talked about, everything's banned, right? Everything is banned in the streets.
Yeah.
Ball games are banned. Everything's banned.
You can't play dodgeball. No, they don't keep counting soccer. I mean, there are all these reasons why people don't go outside and play, or why kids don't go outside and play. And I think that that's lost. I think that the spirit of competition is lost. And I think people are just, we live in a world where everything is projected and there's so much fear in everything. And not that some of it isn't warranted, but we've scared ourselves out of competition.
Yeah. And people are scared of going to the gym as well. So the gym, we're solving gym intimidation as well. The problem that everyone's worried about going to the gym, and there was another stat which was like 50% of Americans are concerned and intimidated of going to the gym.
Yeah.
There's a barrier there as well, right?
I mean, you have people that you go to the gym, you don't know what to do, and if you do know what to do, you don't want to be bothered. And now we have a pandemic to worry about. So who's going to cough on me? And what if I touch something?
So let's put a headset on. Let's go there, right? Let's put the headset on, as it were, and headsets on. You've got this new world of fitness.
Yeah.
Fundamental is immersive fitness space. Why is it so good? What is the value to these people who are intimidated in the gym or inactive in their lifestyle? What does it bring? Why is it so good?
I mean, I think the first thing would be a safe space. You can literally have a space where you can do what you need to do and not worry about, I got to get up and schlep to the gym. I got to bring an extra bag, or I have to travel across town. I don't know what to do. What if I'm...
It takes the excuses away.
It takes a lot of the excuses away. A lot of the excuses.
And you can't see yourself either. So you're in this little world and you can't even see yourself. You are in your own world, and that's a pretty good thing as well. There's no mirrors to be looking at, unless you want to check yourself
Yeah,
out.
well,
I'll check yourself out if I was. So what about the opportunity as well, the multiplayer and things like that, bringing other people into the experience, but yet being an avatar? That's quite cool.
I think it's a really cool thing to leverage. I mean, I can teach to thousands, tens of thousands of people in one day. You can participate, now with I almost said the multiverse, with this metaverse where you can literally participate in your living room in a safe space with everyone from all over the place. My son in Ireland is going to get an Oculus for his birthday.
Is he?
And he's so excited because he gets to box with his dad.
That's very cool, yeah. I mean, I think the truth is as well, as a person in fitness, as a personal trainer, like you said, beforehand, you could reach and change people's lives. How many people? 30 maybe?
Maybe. I mean, you figure 1 hour for one day. So reasonable proximity to the gym. Let's assume 8 people a day, 6 days a week,
Not that many, but
no,
with this,
30 people tops.
100,000 a day?
Easily.
Essentially. I mean, that's an incredible way of actually taking your skills and putting it into the lives and changing people's lives. Pretty proud. So let's talk about the fitness industry. The fitness industry, in my opinion, I'm going to put it out there to you, is basically lazy and needs to change. Do you think that's true?
I think there's elements of truth to that. I mean, there are so many things out there that don't do a lot. It's a lot of hubbub and not a lot of substance.
Yeah.
But
Barry's have done it.
Barry's figured it out. Peloton, they've got a really great product. There are lots of things out there. But
it
again,
hasn't really changed the game, is it? You think about Peloton, it's been just a spin bike.
Yeah. It's still a spin class.
It's still a spin. I mean, as we said earlier on.
Wish I'd thought of it.
Yeah, I'd be happy thinking of it too. But the truth is, it's still a spin bike. They've got a bit of music, but that's really it, right?
Yeah.
Barry's, they took in music.
It's a mood thing, but it's still basically a boot camp. I mean, that's what it's called, Barry's Boot Camp.
Yep.
But it really hasn't changed much in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It's like Peloton didn't change spin, it just made more of it.
So immersive fitness, again, coming back into this world, we're throwing cues at you and you're punching, you're boxing. How does that change things? We talked about flow state. Does immersive fitness help you get there?
I think it does, because I think that when you allow people to forget that they're working out and just get into the fun of it, get into the mood of it, let the music take you, let the environment engulf you, you forget that you're actually working out. You're just doing what you do. And I think there's a real opportunity there. I mean, and then when you start to advance it, you have different, I mean, we talked about, what happens when all of a sudden, rather than just hitting cues for boxing, you can put in your favorite boxer.
Yes.
And you could literally virtually fight a Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
You could virtually box Mike Tyson.
Yeah, we talked about how you can either take the real people of it in history and actually take all their cues and their moves and put that into your front room. But then you talked really weirdly about how you can take Floyd Mayweather and he could be fighting, his son could be fighting his dad.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I also think, because the conversation there says, once you start to advance, once you bend the learning curve to the advantage of the player, then you advance the athletes faster. So there's a lot of opportunity to get all the benefits of these fitness things without the, in that particular case, boxing, without the damage of getting hit.
But come back to why is flow state so important? I read an article, and I think it's quite a famous article, that supposedly if you get people into flow state, that you can take away 30% of the overall pain as you're exercising. As an athlete, as a triathlete, as someone who swims in the Hudson, I think it's the Hudson.
Yes, I swim in the Hudson.
Good luck. Anyone else like to join him?
Salty.
Why is it important? Why is flow state important?
I mean, for endurance athletes in particular, the one thing you don't want to do is focus on every single stroke, every single step, every single stride. But I think that, the joy of, and you get this in weightlifting too, the joy of the exercises, once it becomes mindless, once it becomes automatic, once it, they talk about muscle memory, but truly, once your body is just truly reacting in the moment and you're being present and you're just there with your thoughts and your breathing, I think there's an advantage to being able to perform like that. And I think being able to do that inside of the VR world with our workouts is an amazing space.
Yeah.
There comes a point where you're not even thinking about the boxing, you're just reacting to it, and we respond to it through the voiceovers, You're going through it and boom, all of a sudden you're not thinking left hook, right hook, uppercut, you're
in the flow.
You're just going, yeah.
Music's going, your voice
Music's
is in
going,
there.
and everything is second nature.
So,
and I think when you're doing that, you're definitely not thinking about any pain.
no, that's true. So no pain, no gain is a thing of the past.
Could be, could be.
That's a big challenge for us. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, I suppose in many ways you are taking away distractions, right? You are giving more motivation, and you are, without doubt, I think, our most motivational person in the way that you give the voiceover.
Thank you.
And I asked you a question earlier on, which was, do you think that humans, the personal trainer, will be replaced by immersive fitness, or will it just be enhanced? Will it replace someone like yourself, or will it enhance you? And you talked about the personal side of it, which is still really useful. So we've got incredible things come up in the future. We have environments which will change around you, dynamic environments which will give you that another sense of immersiveness. We have the ability to be able to have high level of adaptive coaching, because we know every single cue, we know every single motion, every single collision that you're going to do. So the data side of this is incredible, right? But at the same time, there is always a personal element to personal training as well.
I mean, I'll be honest, I hope that never goes away. I love the personal interaction of personal training. That's why it's personal. I love to look and say, oh, Ben, how you doing? You feeling good? Is there something bugging you? Let's alter the workout to address whatever stresses that you're going through today. Yeah. That's something that I don't know that a computer program could necessarily do. And as I say that, I'm sure that's, there's some program that's monitoring your sweat glands and your pupils and says, oh, you look like you're stressed. Yeah. But I think that, I don't know that we would ever want to do away with that. I think at its best, these types of programs work in synergy with the human element to create the best workout, so that the data is optimized, the workouts are perfectly formed, and they've got compassion, empathy, and enthusiasm from a person to person. And I can focus on you as the person while the data takes care of you as the machine.
Yeah, I agree entirely. I do agree. I mean, I think there is the ability for natural language processes to be blurred and blended with the technologies like mixed reality and virtual reality, but I do think that there is always a space for the human, and I think it's a really important thing.
I mean,
no doubt about it.
Thing.
We can replicate you. There is no doubt about that, but we won't.
I mean, the leg is cool, but the leg is cool because I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you could replace, this is a mechanical leg, but it only works in synergy with me as a person, which gives the leg personality.
So we've been in virtual reality, right? That's what our product focuses on, and that's where we've really focused. And really the reason being is the fact that the technology hasn't been there to be able to for augmented reality, to be able to give us a medium to step it up. But where do you see augmented reality being a thing? Because when I first joined FitXR, I was like, I'm just going to wait for augmented reality. I just can't wait. I'm going to get through this next 6 months, and then I'm going to wait for augmented reality, wait for the Apple device to come through. We're going to look at Meta's new camera device. We're going to do that. But in actual fact, when you put the headset on and you're immersed in this world, you've got to really rethink how fitness works in the augmented space. But we talked about other areas of cardio. We talked about how augmented reality can change weight training. How do you feel about what that's going to do?
I mean, I think technology in general is going to do that. So augmented reality can't help but to make us better humans, better athletes, better trainers. I mean, being able to work with this kind of information with our clients is great. So I mean, of course, as you're working inside of this, it can't help but to make it better. I don't see any other way there.
And there's one last piece we'll just quickly touch on before we finish up, which is this world of we talked about gaming. We talk about this new world where kids. Pokemon Go in 2019 made, I think it was 29 billion kilometers walked. Just incidentally. And I think incidental fitness, we talked about this, how you went back all the way back to Street Fighter, and how you can, how this technology and our technology and the cues that we can power potentially the future of fitness in a different way. Is that exciting?
Well, so the Street Fighter example is interesting. Anybody remember the old Street Fighter? Some of us. So when I was in college, I remember Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were right next to each other. And I remember not being very interested in Mortal Kombat because it looked like two guys fighting. And I thought, well, why would you just want to watch? I want to watch cartoons. I don't want to watch a guy fighting. But in this type of domain, what if it progressed so much that you put on the VR goggles and now you're in Street Fighter?
How cool is that?
What if, to one of the other conversations we had, what if you put on the goggles and you work your way through the storyline of The Mandalorian?
Yep. And the scary thing is that in past, the progression of technology has driven this level of inactivity. There is no doubt about that. And the metaverse, kids fighting with their fingers in the future could be just fighting with their fists in the street, not in the street with fists, but in the virtual world, hopefully. And I think that's a super exciting one. So to finish up, we're running right out of time, but so the last words from you about the people who have lived in the old world of fitness. What should they do? What should they be thinking about when they're thinking about this new world? Now, you've touched this new world. You've been in this new world. You are in the new world. You present the new world. What would you say? I
mean, I would say that you really need to get on board and see what you're missing. It's like trying to promote and not be online. I mean, try to run a business and not be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever the new thing is. If you're going to be in fitness, it's only a matter of time before you have to integrate some version of this.
Totally. There is new form factors of fitness coming every day. We don't have to think of fitness at all as fitness in the traditional sense, as boxing and HIIT like we do today, but much more about that world of Ready Player Me, when that woman, the girl in there is jumping from zombie to zombie in the ballroom, these flying, floating zombies, and she's jumping from A to B to C to get the key. That's fitness, right? It's incidentally fitness, but it is fitness. And so fitness in every single way is going to be reimagined, right?
It is. And I also think it's more inclusive. I mean, the way that we've worked with FitXR, we're setting it up so that people with disabilities can do it, people with physical challenges can do it. And you can literally, you got bad back, bad knee, we have a modification for you. And that's another thing you talked about, gym intimidation. I've worked with a lot of disabled athletes, and try getting a blind person to go to the gym. That's tough. Try to get a person with a hearing deficit to go to the gym. Someone with an amputation, especially, children, young ladies with the leg, it's a whole thing. but this is a way that you can do it that still provides, again, a safe space that accommodates for all different types of folks. I think it's really on the cutting edge of fitness.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Billy. Appreciate it. Is there any time for any questions? There certainly is. Any questions, though? There's one there.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of VR fitness. I started doing VR fitness about 3 years ago, and then I really got into it when the lockdown happened, and I lost 20 pounds doing VR fitness, and I've kept it off for 2 years now. So an hour every day. And so, but I wanted to comment on your question about, could we have AI coaches? I say absolutely not. One of the applications that I use, they also have human coaches, and it's the ones who have actually had tragedy in their lives, and they share that tragedy, and they open up, and that creates an empathetic connection.
Absolutely.
There is no
Totally
AR, no AI that's going to be able to say, I lost a leg in a motorcycle accident. So whatever you're going through out there, I'm with you, and I got you in this. And
Thank you.
that is something a computer can never do.
See, and that will get her to the gym far more than anything
every
else.
single way.
Absolutely. The gamification, I can't wait for the next wave, which I think is like using AR for the gamification of like boring household chores.
You usually come up with a really
I need
good
a game
idea.
that cleans
Everyone's
my
gonna be writing
bathroom.
it down.
I want a game that cleans my bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So turn it into a game, make it a competition, So, but anyway, thank you
Thank
so
you
much
very
for
much.
what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're changing people's lives.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.